When defining architectures in AWS, it is helpful to have diagrams so that you can visualize the architecture. AWS has provided an entire icon set for customers that can be used freely and publicly so that all AWS diagrams can have a consistent look and feel. Now, at the top level of these diagrams, we have what we call the group icons. And you can think of these as sort of containers, boxes that you can resize and place other icons in them to show different relationships or associations. Next, we have a sort of hierarchy. And at the top of this hierarchy, we have category icons. Now, I've picked a handful of examples here, but the categories are going to match pretty closely the list of building blocks that we've already talked about. And it includes network, compute, storage, and database services. Each of these categories are represented by different colors as well. Within these categories, we have service icons. And so these are going to represent actual services, service API endpoints that are hosted by AWS. And so in our network category, we have the VPC service. In the compute category, we have the EC2 service. In the storage category, we have S3, and in the database category, we have RDS. But that's not all. As we go a little bit deeper, we'll find that AWS also provides different resource icons. Now, there's not 100% coverage on the resources, but the popular services and features will all have representation here so that rather than just dropping a VPC icon onto your diagram, you can create a VPC with subnets and peering connections and internet gateways and so forth. You can place EC2 instances within that VPC. You can draw connectors from that VPC to S3 buckets for storage, and you can also place your database resources like RDS into that VPC. And so here's an example of a two-tier architecture within AWS. At the top left, we have an end user using some sort of client, whether it's a mobile device or a browser, connecting across the internet into a VPC network through an internet gateway. The infrastructure in this diagram has been deployed into different locations called availability zones with different subnets. We have a bright orange load balancer that is taking that traffic from our end user and distributing those requests to an auto-scaled group of EC2 instances that are running in a different subnet. And we're going to talk about all of these services and features as we go through the rest of our course.